Hello everybody and welcome to Sovereignty Through Numerology. This is Natali. As promised, I'm here to do a more in-depth audio about the year 2025. By the way, Happy New Year to everybody. So 2025, well, I think it is going to be a year that we will remember in our generation, in our lifetime. And also the year 2026, so both 25 and 26, I think will be cornerstones, will mark the new era that's coming. Definitely, those 2 years are going to be really impartial for all of us. We know at this stage, if you've listened to my previous video, that the energy is 9. The energy of this year is 9. So the cross sum of 2025 equals 9. Stands for endings, for change, for wisdom, and all structures can become obsolete very quickly. And the conscious minds of people this year coming can be sort of like, or the minds of people can be sort of like, be really in turbulence. As well, politics, we will see, might be a very, very turbulent affair, because it's all about transformation, and the transformation has to happen on every level. Transformation has to happen in the ones who lead and in the ones who lead the ones who lead, if you know what I mean. If that does not happen, I think the whole world economy will collapse, unfortunately. So we're talking about the economic year 2025. And maybe I need to specify, because there is also a business year and there is a personal year. So the business year obviously is where the specific business numbers for success are being calculated for an enterprise, for a business. And the personal year is your personal year, where you go from 1 to 9. We always go in cycles of 1 to 9. So 1 obviously being the beginning and 9 being the ending. And every year holds a special learning for us until we arrive again at the 9. So this year will be very important for people interested, for anybody who would like to sail through this rather challenging year, to know what personal year they're in. And I'm going to mention this at the end of the audio, how you can work that out, and talk also about the meanings of how they're linked and what the potentials are. Some years are really lucky years in connection with the 9. That would be 3, 6 and 8. But it's important for anybody interested, for anybody wanting to be awake, and for anybody wanting to be responsible for themselves and their families and the world, so to speak, to know what that means and what they can do. Okay? So, even though the economic year has nothing to do directly with our personal year, which in other words mean you can have a wonderful year while the world out there is collapsing. But we are being influenced, because it's the economic year is for the whole world. We're influenced through the media, social media, the system, authorities, politics, etc. We are being influenced through that. Also, 2025, there is only soul numbers. So the 2 and the 5, they're both soul numbers. So you can imagine whatever is happening around us or in the world will stir our feelings, our emotions, our psyche. Everything will really be going under our skin. And I'm afraid to say, I think there's going to be a lot of upset this year. Individually, out in the world, there's going to be losses. Also with money, I think a lot of people will leave this planet either willingly or either just because it's their time to go. And I think we're also going to see a lot of companies going into insolvency this year, unfortunately. It's also like with the personal number, we're going from 1 to 9. So with the world economy, the 1 is the beginning, the 9 is the end. We have arrived at that 9. We're going through a birthing process, and which means like the old has not yet gone. The 9 is the old that wants to go, and the new has not come yet. So hence this birthing process that we're all in, whether we want to or not. We don't like it. It's painful, but we have no choice but to go through it. But when we come out on the other side, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm convinced there's going to be good times again. But at the moment, we just have to focus on something else. We have to deal with what's going to happen this year. And when you look at the 9 is the ending, in a way it's like symbolically like the prodigal son that goes out into the world and he makes tons of experiences, happy ones, exciting ones, bad ones, destroying ones. And eventually, when he has exhausted all avenues, he comes back to the father, bruised and battered, but has learned so much and has grown as a person inside. And the father welcomes him and takes him in, and there's going to be a party and everything is wonderful. You could look at it a little bit like that. Only that once the party is over, the prodigal son will have to obviously further develop himself and start new again, start fresh again, which means he cannot do that before he does not sit down and have some quiet time and think about those 10 years gone and all the things that have happened. And, look at all the terrible things he has experienced, all the wonderful things he has experienced, and ask himself, okay, where do I still have a hang up? Like, where did I not forgive? Where did I not forgive myself? All the losses. Where is there maybe, where am I holding grudges? Where am I holding resentment? Even again, against myself. Have I forgiven myself for the losses that I messed up, that I failed, or that I've been hurt? Have I forgiven everything? Because without that, without accepting that these things have come to pass, but they also made you the one you are now. But in order to move on, they need to go, and you need to have your peace with them. So that's our job today this year, globally, and also with ourselves, that we ask ourselves, where are we at? Where do I stand? And this new year coming will bring a lot of very confusing, very aggressive energies that will mess with our heads. And the best way to manipulate mankind is through fear. Fear is always a sign of lack of energy. And that's why it's so important that you sit still with yourself and ask yourself, okay, what has come to pass? What have I not let go? So that you can tap into your intuition and come to the point to, no matter what's being told to you outside there in the world, through the system, through politics, through economy, even in your family, that you can say, okay, I'm like an empty vessel now because I've let go and I have had grown as a human being inside. So I'm now willing to listen to my intuition. What is my intuition saying? Despite of what the world is telling you, that's going to be very, very important. Because there's going to be a lot of confusion, a lot of aggression, as I said, war, upheaval, uncertainty, and there also will be job losses, unfortunately, and also jobs or professions, different professions will all of a sudden disappear. and new ones will emerge that we can't even imagine that they would ever exist at this stage. So a lot of new stuff is coming in as well that will be confusing for us. Let's look at the 2 or the 20 in 2025, which so there will be a 2 and a 0 really for the next until the next century. And the 20 always pushes us to listen to our feelings and our intuition. But unfortunately, as we probably all know only too well, we don't do enough of that. Because most of us are still too much listening to the noise outside, and we're influenced by that, our mobile phones and all these social medias, and everything is fast and loud. And partly also we think they know better than we do, and partly as well it suits us because it allows us to stay in our comfort zone. So the 20, so the 2 is also intuition, and it's your third eye. So you can imagine like a horizontal line going to the middle of your forehead where the third eye is. And I would really recommend to everybody from now on making a huge effort to question everything that you hear out in the world, and then don't go into silence and ask your intuition, ask your inner voice, what is the real truth? And become more and more an expert at that, because that will be your compass, that will be your guiding light through the times coming, really. Then let's have a look at the 25. Okay. It really tells us like to adopt another perspective of things. It's also the number for affairs, but it doesn't mean that you have to go out now and have an affair. It doesn't mean that at all. It's more symbolically saying, in a way, it's not the right expression to say become unfaithful to yourself. That doesn't work. But what it means is break pattern. Do something completely different, even if it goes completely against your grain, or if it goes against logic. But if it's something that maybe you always wanted to do, go and do it. Like 25 is really inviting you to do that. It's inviting you to take risks and to leave behind the tried and tested. 5 is also about travel and freedom and communication and going out there and liberate yourself from anything that keeps you small, or that holds you back. And breaking pattern will always produce a reset within you. And a reset means, okay, you're going to be able to look at yourself from the outside and the situation you're in, and you can see clearly. And from that clarity, you can also make better decisions for yourself. I think it is fairly common knowledge at this stage that we as humanity we are being manipulated from outside in. And so one of the topics for this year is not only transformation, it is also manipulation versus freedom, and what you're going to choose. So you understand, if you don't break free, if you do not, like the prodigal son, tidy up what has happened to him and have acceptance to what's happened to him over the past 10 years. If you don't do that, you choose to be continuously manipulated. You're not choosing freedom. You're choosing freedom when you choose to let go. So as humanity, as people, we have free will. So you can choose whatever you want. I'm just describing here the energy of this year and the possibility, that the great new possibilities that can come with it. I also want to look at the 2 2s in the year 2025. So while 2 is intuition and telepathy, gut feeling, and all that, having 2 2s, so a repetition of a number, is a sign in the collective that there has been a lot of hurt. Okay, that works on the individual level as well on the global level. A lot of hurt, a lot of disappointment. And typically people who have been hurt will be confronted again with disappointment and hurt in this year. So again, if you find there's been a lot of hurt and disappointment in your life, do not shoulder that any longer. Look at it. Look at it and let it go, because otherwise this year is going to mirror something like that to you, again. The double 2 is also a sign that we're too much in our heads. Again, as it can be intuition and being connected and all that, but when there is 2, it means it's a blockage wherever there is, even in a date of birth, where numbers are repeating means, there's a particular knot that needs to be released and healed. So with the double 2 in the year, it's also like we're overthinking, we're over-analyzing, we're over-dissecting, excuse me, what's happening in the head. And that will cause doubt. So that maybe today we have a wonderful idea and say, yeah, now I know how I'm going to do this. And tomorrow I question it again. I doubt it again. That's being on the shadow side of the 2. That's the 2. So we need to watch out of that. This way we sabotage ourselves and we come to the point where we say, I don't know what happened. Nothing is working. I'm neither going backwards nor I'm going forward. That's self-sabotage through overthinking. And that sort of has has weight as well in what's going on for us as humanity. The 0, when we take the 0 is really the universe and the Akashic records. In the universe, there is no room and time. There's no boundaries. There's no control. The universe gives you everything you need to live in abundance if you have emptied your rucksack of the hurt and the pain and you're free to receive. Because we haven't gone through the birthing canal yet. We're not out the other end. And the new hasn't come yet. It's sort of like a 2-tier world at the minute that we're in. And unfortunately, there's also very strong energies of the juggler and the deceiver around. So that's why it is so important for you to become clear and become an empty vessel and let go as much as you can. So to be able to make good decisions for yourself. And also, I forgot to mention earlier on, the 5 also stands for sudden change and upheaval and has a very strong addiction element to it, in particular gambling and gaming, maybe gaming even more than gambling, because the gaming allows us to be doing things with our times that are not good for us, because we sort of can completely lose ourselves in it, not realizing that this is not good for us, because the 9 in the tarot is also the Hermit. And the Hermit suggests that you are in a phase of introspection where you're drawing your attention inwards and looking for answers within. So the gaming and the gambling takes you down a completely different avenue, and that's really the game of the deceiver. So watch out for that. We will be confronted with topics like power and sadism and resurrection and fall, sexual scandals and money stuff. But sexual energy and money energy are really very, very alike, but we will see dirty stuff like that. And as a lot of things will be happening this year. And I know it sounds like doom and gloom, and it is for this year, but when you understand what I've been saying to you, that there is a way out of this, in the sense that we go with it and we do our work, and then we put our focus into what's coming next, that there's going to good times going to come again, and focus on that. But At the moment, we will be very tested and we will be very shaken up. So accept that, take that into consideration, see it as knowledge, don't be scared, and do your work. Find out what your personal number is this year, and you should be okay. We will be okay if we do the right thing. So how does one work out the year, the personal year one is in? So you take your date of birth. For example, if you're born on the 19th of May, you add up 1 and 9 and 5 and 2 and 2 and 4. So the 19th of the 5th, 2024. And so what is that? 1 and 9 is 10 and 5 is 15 and 2 is 17 and 2 is 19. 19 and 4 is 23. So that would be a 5 year. Okay, so because a personal year doesn't go from January to December, it goes from birthday to birthday. So by the 19th of May 2025, it will change into a year 6. But until that day, the person will be in a year 5, the energy 5. So we would have to look at what does the 5 need, your personal task here, 5 in connection with the 9. So anybody interested in knowing can PM me or can send me an email. I think the details will be on the Facebook site, and we can take it from there. I'm thinking maybe of doing a webinar where I can give information, or all the people interested. We could do a webinar with all the people interested, and I could let you know so that you are well prepared for what's coming. Also, in terms of letting go the past, because I know it's so easily said, but it's not easily done. There's one thing you can do. You go into your daily meditation and you connect with your higher self, you connect with God. And when I say God, I don't mean religion, okay? I mean God. There's only one God, and it doesn't matter what religion we're from or that we use. So you go into God and you ask Him to guide you, and you go back to as far back as you can remember, even maybe your childhood, and you ask God to help you to remember all situations that are unreleased, that haven't been redeemed. And I don't mean redeem in a way of punishment or anything judgmental, and go through that situation again where maybe you have reacted wrongly, where you hurt somebody or where somebody else hurt you, and you forgive, and you imagine this situation how it should have been in the ideal world, and you forgive and you ask God for forgiveness that you did that to yourself or that you did that to somebody else. And you can, in your mind, psychically talk to the other person that it's in connection with, and you do that. That's a big job, but it can be done. And at least you can do the past 10 years. That's going to be really, really important. Alternatively, I have a prayer that I use myself that I find like very, very useful and really works. When I become aware of what I'm aware of that has not been released, not redeemed, that I still really carry with me, I use that prayer, because we also have those guidelines on how to create. And yes, we must create for the new year to come. We must do that. Most of you are probably familiar with The Secret. The Secret is really good, but it's lacking one important bit in my view, which is the connection, the relationship with God. So anybody wanting, I have the guidelines on how you, in my view and in my experience, manifest and create a new future for yourself, or or manifesting dreams or hopes or wishes for yourself, new job, new partner, whatever it is, or good health or whatever it is. But the problem with that is as well, you first need to have released yourself from deep-seating, long-standing stuff. So I can help you with that. I have both prayers. And I do it professionally. If you go into my website, nhaasconsultancy, you will see under other dimensions that I offer this service where I can help to release you from whatever you think is holding you back. That is no problem. That's nearly part of my main work that I do these days, beside the numerology. So I can help you with that. If you would like me to send out this prayer and the guide for manifesting, I charge €2 for that. Okay, I think that's okay, because it's going to take me a lot of time to send it to a lot of people. And it was also my own time to create it, so I think €2 would be fair. Now, before I end this audio, let's have a look. Okay, so summarize the negative parts of 225. Well, it could be wars, destruction, depression on all levels are possible. Natural disasters will probably increase. General letting go, general saying goodbye to things in this birthing process that is painful, awaiting the new or working towards the new that's going to come in 2026. Is there something positive about the 2025? You're probably asking yourself. Yes, there is, albeit not a lot, but there is. So, for example, positive is, in brackets, anything in the technical world, there will be breakthroughs that we cannot imagine just yet. Now, for some people find that very, very positive. They're going to be excited about it. Like for people like me who are technically retarded or technical retards, it's better, technical retards, it's a nightmare. But there will be a lot of breakthroughs in that sense. While communities will fall apart, new communities will build, because the 9 is also the great brother of humanity who wants to link. And it's going to be a time where we're actually get the opportunity and should really, reach out to others and be of help and assistance to our human fellas. Because of the 9, because of his sort of all-encompassing humanity aspects of helping and being there for others. So maybe contemplate this. How can you help your neighbor? How can you help your family? How can you help your friends? How can you maybe join communities where you can help? Charitable work, whatever. It's broad. And there's going to be a lot of speed this year. That's why when things go, they go crashing. They will make a lot of noise. They go fast and they're gone. That could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing. And actually, when we look at the last 9 year that we had, that was in 2016. So if you Google 2016 and major events, not even the major events, just events, 2016, there's 3, for example, Britain voted for Brexit. It was Trump's election. And the first terrorist attack in France had happened. Although that was in November, but that doesn't really matter. That's just, so, the 2 last months in the year sort of like are vibrationally also already taken over a little bit by the new year coming. But Google it. It's interesting. You'll see how much has happened in 2016. Now, I think, or why do I think that 2025, which is also a 9 year, is going to be substantially more difficult than the 2016 Niner year. Okay. According to my current level of knowledge, we have entered the apocalypse in the year 2020 with an event, and you all remember what event that was. And some people have a little bit more understanding of what really happened and what it was really about than others. But that was the first seal that had been broken in the apocalypse. There will be 7 seals. The second seal had been broken excuse me in 2024 with the Olympics. The next one, the third one, will come in 4 years from now. So the apocalypse, the apocalypse this time, this one is human made. Okay, only the 6th and the 7th are God made, and the real apocalypse will only start after 2046. This one here is human made. What does that mean? If it's human made, it's how humanity is being controlled. But because we're in this, and the first and the second seal have broken, that's why I am thinking, I'm pretty sure that this Niner year will be substantially more challenging than the one in 2016. But we will see. Still stay positive. Doesn't mean that it's going to be a terrible year for you, depending on your personal year. Let's take the positive on board, that it's transformation and the result will be good. The result will be pleasing and we will be happy again. And in the meantime, let's all keep working on ourselves. I'm going to go now. I wish you all the very best. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for your patience. And God bless. And remember, it's together that we are strong. Bye-bye and thank you.